Hello, and welcome for another great podcast, episode 6 today. My name is Just Gaming. I play Rainier Falkov, the mayor of Valentine, who's also now the great owner of the Crab Shack down in Blackwater. Next to me is the brains of everything right here, over here, this side right here. The brains about everything behind the podcast, the mastermind himself. Hello over there. Oh, that's right the wrong way. There we go. Hello there. All right. You want to introduce yourself, Mr. Dip?
Why not? Hello, I'm Dip. I'm also Douglas, and maybe I should make more characters because this is getting old. But maybe after this, I'll make a doctor. Who knows? Probably not. But yeah, this podcast, to those that don't know it, is this specific one is about doctors and what it's like being a doctor and how you are a doctor, why we have doctors, and other doctor stuff. But all the podcasts are made to bring to you different topics from A to B, and also things that we yet not know. And that is pretty much it. We brought 2 doctors for you that will teach you how to do an autopsy. And they are.
There we go. Everybody's favorite Bima. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Chi. I play Bella, who has been a doctor on ranch for about a year now, a bit over a year, since start, basically. And yeah, I'm basically been an admin as well, and kind of did the groundwork for the medical roleplay on the server before we even launched, and then launched with that groundwork together. Was a doctor for, I think, almost 6 months before I kind of dipped and went onto another char, and then came back, I think, now 5 months ago. Yeah.
All right. And your trusty sidekick, the person you chose to bring on the podcast today to help you talk about. Here we go. Oh.
Hi, I'm Drew. I play Jane nowadays, and my doctor character currently is Emma Wolfgang. I am, however, done all my doctoring basically as Amelia LaCroix. Rest in peace, Queen. Love you. Yeah, and I am here because I have been chosen because I talk a lot.
That's very
The
true.
gift of gap, they call it, I think.
I want to start off first off, right? Because you guys were telling me some juicy stuff. Before we even started. And I said, wait, bring it up. All right. Why? You say you're telling me that you brought because she talks a lot. You were trying to give me some juicy details about why you actually there was some stuff that maybe she helped out, but what were you getting into there?
Yeah, so basically, we started the server with a bit of a rank structure within medical. So there was a medical director, like basically the sheriff's offices have. There was a medical director, somewhat of the sheriff. Then we had several head doctors, basically the captains and senior doctors and so forth. After I left, there was a lot of back and forth between who should take over that position. And after a couple of months, basically, it was a decision was made to nuke the rank structure and leave the office as there's doctors that can roam around and kind of be, doctors, medical staff. And then you have a medical board set in place. And that was basically during the time I was not there. So I can't talk much about the background there, which is why I brought Drew along, because she's basically one of the people that helped with that quite a lot. So, yeah.
She's an old doctor.
We're both, basically. I mean, she's more than me, but yeah, I was there during the time she wasn't, basically. So what happened is we had a lot of problems, basically, in the doctor's office. People just weren't satisfied with how things were going, and LFM came in and tried to solve it with, honestly, a very unique solution. Basically, I remember the specific words that were used is, this is a chance for the doctor's office to be something that we don't have on the server, which is basically a legal faction that is kind of self-governing in many ways, in the sense that updates to the medical journal and all of that stuff was supposed to just be handled by doctors. But what we very quickly, all doctors told LFM is, in the long run, this is not going to work. You have no one who can take care of keeping up quality of medical RP. You have no one who can take care of corruption problems. Who is law going to talk to when they have problems with the doctor's office? You know, all of that came out pretty quickly. So LFM rounded up a little, like, basically just people who could help, and anyone was welcome and all that. And then that then quickly became what she then knew, where there was a medical board set up. And that was set up purely with the intention of this was something that could handle corruption questions and be basically someone that people could talk to. But then more stuff happened with LFM. And basically, it was very, very close to us getting reset to 1 again, like to the same changes that were originally brought in. And everyone on the medical board, I remember we were talking and we just said, guys, you can't do this. You can't do this to us. We worked so hard on these changes to get something going. And then she came in. She was, I believe it was specifically Oaks
Drop the
that
admin
asked.
card.
Yeah. No. It was actually Oaks that, like, she just came in to give like some advice, and then Oaks was just like, "Chi, help." And then everyone on the medical board at the time basically just went, "Chi, mommy, come help us, please."
It was really like that.
It was literally, everyone was just like, "Please fix it, help us." And she has been working overtime ever since then. I keep telling her to go to bed. Yeah, and then since then, the rest is history, I guess, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it was kind of funny actually how I went back into the whole situation. My character had to go through the process, or I wanted my character also to go through that process again of going from nurse. I started as a nurse to doctor again. So even though the knowledge was there because she used to be the medical director, I wanted her to go through that process again, simply to see what's up, even when I go through this process again. How's the process going at the moment? How's it looking like? You know, kind of seeing basically where we are at the moment. And then OOC, I've been like watching the medical board channel in Discord, and was kind of like, oh, what's going on here? And then I came in as an admin and gave a bit of a, yeah, you know, like back when I did this and this, maybe that could help y'all. And then the character was, on the day that she became a doctor again, was the day that Oak said, please, this is yours again. Here, take it. And I was like, oh shit. And then in like, I think 4 days, I wrote up all the changes that were supposed to be happening.
I remember you did that so quickly too.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, because I heard this through the grapevine, right? I don't know if this is true, okay? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Benny that said that. Fuck, I can't actually remember if it was Benny. Talking about how in the beginning of the server, or at least from the beginning when it was properly done, there was about, did he say 70 pages that you like, you know how the law has an SOP, right, that you need to read and be you know, intimate with. He said that the doctor's office has 70 fucking pages or something like that.
There's a lot of words.
It's not SOPs that are this long, it's the medical journal. So basically all of the medical knowledge, the medical Bible, so to say, that everybody learns from, basically the training guide that law has, all of that was written down, because whilst we do hands-on work, and
who wrote that?
That was me. The groundwork was me. And then it has changed over the next couple of months that we've been, or now year that we've been on Ranch. But we started with the 70 pages, plus the specialization books, which I've written over the past 2 years, I think, that I've been doing medical RP, or three years, with several doctors over several servers. Basically, as a collection of what is there in 1899, what can we use? Because whilst nowadays everything can be fixed, right, or most things can be fixed, in 1899 we're talking very little, because the major changes that medical went through over the years was actually from like I must say 1890s till 1930s, basically, mainly from 1900 up, basically. A lot of them in Germany, Austria, Europe in general. Was a lot of innovation. So I was actually quite nice to roleplay a bit of that. Like, for example, I had Bella, who is a German, as I am a German as well.
Kuchen.
Read a bit of German books in character and then actually translate them. Like, I took the time to do the roleplay with that for optometry, that is, as that was one of the major things that were happening in Germany back in the day. But yeah, the
So they
70
didn't just do
pages were for
amputation,
me.
cocaine, or death.
Well, I mean, that sums it up really, pretty much.
What is actually really interesting is if Ranch ever goes like 1 or 2 years into the future, there's going to be a lot more medical stuff that the doctor's office suddenly can do. And that is one of those things where we oftentimes had to sit down with each other and go like, all right, are we going to allow this thing that's basically already a thing, but it's just not normalized yet, right? And there's a lot to play with the historical accuracy in the doctor's office. And it's one of the things that always caused the medical journal to, well, it's one of the reasons why it needs to be updated so much, you know, because it's always like we find something that, oh, this is actually not accurate at all anymore, or this is actually, we couldn't actually technically do this at this time, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really interesting.
The doctors don't have to memorize all of that, do they?
No, that's why the medical journal is in place. Whilst, yes, the procedures themselves would be good to at least know, okay, the groundwork, but and they are trained on this very thoroughly as well. Nurse faces at least 14 days where they learn it, and then if they need more, there's tests that determine that. But usually they can just look up in the medical journal how the procedure works. The medical journal is basically step-by-step procedure.
I almost never did any medical procedures in my time as Amelia without the medical journal at least open. I also like even though I knew it, it was nice to just be able to because I have 2 monitors, right? I could just look over and say, okay, I need to quickly remember to do this part before I do this next part, etc. So it is not something that is required to be learned inside and out. I would just say it's an open book policy in the doctor's office, right? Because I've also had medical procedures where if I always say this, if at the end of my medical RP with someone, I don't have 5 tabs open and I didn't do a deep dive in Wikipedia about the historical accuracy of using fish scales for burns or some stuff like that. If that hasn't happened, then I probably just dealt with something really simple, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You're always in the medical office, in the middle of your RP, you're basically learning more about the RP you're doing at the same time.
I gotta ask, for curiosity's sake and for other people as well, can you guys speed run me through how to become a doctor on Ranch Roleplay?
Please.
Of course. Yeah. So first and foremost, a doctor, or a medical professional, I must say, because you go from the phase of intern to nurse to doctor. Doctors are the licensed medical professionals. They get a license as well, printed out and everything. But intern, you just go up to any doctor that is around, or you telegram the doc tip line, and then they have to do a background check, basically like you do with the law without the law whitelist application nowadays. And then, you get hired, you get a book. We have basically almost everything except for the medical journal because it changes so much. Set up in books, I see. SOPs, how to, a step-by-step list of what you do as an intern, what you need to learn before you become a nurse. Once you learned what you need to do.
So I heard that some people are walking around. So, oh man, I still need. I just got my punctured lung. Oh shit! I need
it's a checklist.
It is a checklist.
It became a checklist basically to check off and go to your doctor that you're clocking in under, bring them the book and be like, can you sign this off for me? I just did this with you. I wrote the report. Here's the report. Did I do everything right? And then they can give you a little bit of a feedback. Usually that is the case. They can even write it down in the book, and then once you have that checked off and everything, basically you can take a test, and then you move up one more. So from intern to nurse, from nurse to doctor.
This sounds eerily familiar to something that I believe me and Dip have been through when it comes to staff.
It is very familiar, yes.
Hey,
but
G, can
the
you-
staff
we just did the
thing
session, can
actually came in later, I have to say. I was the one that started it
About
with
this
medical.
coming in later, I'm quickly going to say, back when I joined the medical office, which was in January or February, around there, so the process hasn't changed that much, because I remember I waltzed up in Valentine as Amelia, fresh off the train, as they say, and I had very limited, like I had her have some interest in medical knowledge, but I didn't know anything about ranch yet, so whether or not I wanted to pursue medical RP was going to be purely based on what quality I saw, right? And right away, God, I was hooked on day one, right? But back then, all we really had, as in terms of in character like documentation, there was like notes in random medical offices, and you basically had to hunt them down because they were labeled with 1, 2, and 3. But like some doctors' offices only had like 5 of the 3 left and 17 of the 16 note or whatever, and it was just posters with very basic information. So the medical journal and like all of that, I didn't even have access. Back when I became a doctor as Amelia, we didn't actually see our checklist. That was only available to doctors who could see that, like how many steps you had left. And I will say that did make it so that I was less going around like, oh, I need to find someone for a punctured lung right now, because like you're trying to like get your checklist done so desperately.
Like filling out the Pokedex.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that was one of those things that I remember like being a bit controversial at the time when I was an intern, and back then it was called what was it? It was an assistant, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That it was very controversial that like assistants and like interns shouldn't be going around like talking like, oh, I need to find someone for broken leg, because like that's kind of like fucked up to say, you know, like that. But a lot of it comes from the fact that like assistants and nurses, like they're so ready to be doctors, right? They're so ready to like just go out there and be free on their own. But yeah, I do remember I decided to stay as an assistant for a week longer than like I had to, just because I didn't feel ready yet. But I will also say that a lot of the medical RP and the doctor's office was very different back then. So,
yeah, when it comes to medical RP, you know, like one of the things I've always noticed, at least for me, even the smallest detrimental thing can turn into a long lasting, depending on what, because you always do the /me or /do check for over injuries. What do I find? Might have been just a horse kick, but you know, might have been a broken rib that's punctured your lung at the end of the day. I want to know something about mass casualties. All right, I want to hear something about.
God.
I want to hear 120 people, not full server. 120 people. You know, 120 people on the server. There's six marshals that's been downed in Armadillo. Eight criminals down there. You got 14 people down there. There's 2 doctors at work. How?
So
triage.
I think it's a lot. So usually we tend to, whomever is around, we grab them. Like I think a lot of us know Dottie, for example. I think the amount of times I have grabbed that lady to go with me to a call because I saw this list getting longer and longer up in the chat box, and just Armadillo, or Van Horn. It was just, you grab whomever basically, and then you can always tell them like, pack it with your shirt, I don't know, or rip something off your sleeve and then pack the wound, or just check over the wound, or that. Yeah, I mean, do it. I'm there, you know. You do that.
She signed off.
I don't know. It's just you have to have a lot of patience, and I think sometimes it gets very overwhelming, especially when it's been like a whole day of just mass casualty after mass casualty. Really, we had I know a lot of doctors went on LOA after, I think, one weekend where several gangs had wars against each other, and there was like 15 mass casualties a day with like 10 to 15 people in each, and you were just literally like, I can't do this anymore. It's been text RP ukulele, and then afterwards you see the same people injured again. But it's basically you come to a mass casualty. You check over all the people's wounds, and whomever comes with you, whomever is still, awake or still walking, basically, even if people are injured and I see them having like a wound, they are holding something. If they can walk, they can check over something. So they are going to be told, please go to this and this person that is laying on the ground and please check their wounds. Tell me what's up, and then we go from there. And
sorry, just to get in on that one. I know that law can like deputize people, right? I need backup. I deputize you, right? I know you can't do that with non-medical professionals, but once you've been a doctor, right, you're still allowed to like.
Yes.
So
yes.
So that's why you use Dottie and other people like, Dottie, please help me. I used to be a doctor. Can you help me?
Dottie actually was never a doctor, but
She's seen a lot of people get hurt.
She has seen a lot of people, and there's people. We do first aid certifications, so classes where we tell people how to provide first aid. Because usually, as long as a patient is being kept stable by putting pressure on the wounds, or, at least checking the pulse every now and then, and like telling us where we are at, we can rotate as doctors. We can be like, okay, this patient has an arterial bleed. Let me clamp that. Let me fix the artery that has been nicked, and then I go to the patient that has, I don't know, a gunshot wound to the stomach, and I go from there. As long as I'm keeping everybody stable, I can use whomever is around. But people that are no longer in the doctor's office, but have had their license, for example, like Drew on her Emma character, they can hop in at any point. As long as they have their license, they don't even break the law. However, even if they don't have their license and they are, it's a 20 people mass casualty, usually we are like, please help us. Just use your medical knowledge and grab whatever. Because at this point, personally, OOCly, I don't want people laying on the ground for too long.
No, but the thing is, right? So I've been a jury in one case. I can't remember her exact name. She killed. That's such a wrong word.
Shot.
None of it's true.
In Valentine. No, long time ago. She got pulled into court because people said that she accidentally, through her medical knowledge and through how she did, she ended up killing a player. And so what I'm thinking here is that if you, let's say Mimachi, Bella, comes up and say, you, over there, you got two hands, grab some gauze, put some fucking pressure on this wound right now so he doesn't bleed out. Guy does that, right? Can Bella or that guy be pulled in like because that guy died and like, hey, you didn't do a proper fucking medical job?
No. Well, in itself, there could be a case that is made for sure. That's icy, that's roleplay. If that is happening, but it's a stressful situation. So in most cases, it would be. I mean, Drew can say something to that as well, but I personally would think that it would be thrown out at the end of the day because either way,
they were gonna
with
die,
that
right?
stressful, either way they were gonna die most likely. So yeah.
The first thing I'd like to say is that if I am a doctor and I am doing what the medical journal says, and you decide to CK during my treatment, as long as I have done what treatment is considered correct by like the medical journal and by like basically like the doctor's office, you cannot CK and then try to say that I killed you. You know what I mean? Yes, maybe if there's like a little bit of like, maybe I just overlooked something very important, but at the end of the day, like, that. I will also say quickly, so she bringing someone along and saying they need to put pressure on this person's like wound and all that. You don't need first aid certification for that, obviously, right? Like, so there's a lot of things that you can do as someone without first aid certification. I always personally say, as long as you're not stitching anyone up or, trying to like say this person is cured now, then you're not doing anything that would be like medical. Yeah. Like as long as you're not trying to say that someone is cured from their injury by your medical work here, then you're just doing first aid, right?
No.
But when it comes to like the legality of wrench, like both in terms of tickets and in character, this is why I always preach with people: write your damn medical reports.
Yes.
Write your medical
and the
reports.
more
It is so
thorough, the
important.
better. Yes.
The more
Yeah.
thorough, like I have an entire Discord dedicated to like writing notes while I'm doing my medical RP. Because obviously, when you have 15 cases in a day, you're not going to be writing up 15 medical reports right after it happened, right? You're going to be exhausted if you do that. So keeping a note of everything you did and how you did it is really important. And especially for your in-character defense, because anyone can turn around and try to like frame you for something, right? This is because I do DOJ work now for the medical office. Like that's what I'm trying to focus
Can I
on.
add something on top of that?
Yes.
Just for all the beautiful and helpful doctor role players we have out there. Us, as staff, we make mistakes sometimes, okay? We make mistakes. Every night when the server's full, we go in there and we do the AFK checklist, okay? All right? We try our very best to decipher whether a player is actually AFK. We see a doctor, we see a book. No. Do not kick these people, because we have had where a doctor unfortunately wrote a very, very, very long medical report, and poof.
It was
Oh
fun
Lord,
afterwards.
yeah, never. No, hold it. This is a massive thing. As a doctor, never write your medical reports in the like files or in your books or whatever in character. Write them OC and then paste that stuff in there. You will lose so many medical reports if you don't do that. It is also, I mean, you'll do less spelling mistakes. So
That is also true.
One thing about this podcast, right? Thank you for that. Thank you for telling that to any potential doctors or anyone that didn't know that. One thing this podcast is about, okay, is that we want to help further the RP, right? The main focus is we want to create transparency all the way from the newest player who just joined a minute ago, all the way up to Oak, Shelly, Golden, and Leo, right? But we also want to help further raise the bar of ARP, right? What are some of the things that you guys, when you see, besides someone / me farts while unconscious,
Oh God.
what are some of the stuff that you think that are you don't want to see? You don't want to see, but what are some of the things that you also like to interact with when it comes to as being a doctor who's treating someone unconscious, either brutally wounded or just unconscious?
So, I think Drew and I, we spoke about before the podcast. We were like, what do we want to tell the people out there? Because we also think that this is a good way of doing so. And we talked about how I think a lot of people, regardless of if they're new players or just players that have been around for
even
ages,
their medical
and
knowledge,
even exactly. Everybody, I think, thinks too heavily about what they want to provide to the doctor in that exact moment. I think a lot of us appreciate it way more if you roleplay something lighter, I'm gonna say. So, for example, just a large bullet, not too much internal damage, maybe some muscle tissue damage, not artery hit number 5,675, all of that. And then you roleplay that with the doctor that is currently there. But then the aftermath of that roleplay, so for example, with that muscular damage, you go to a physical therapist. We have all these lovely, lovely specialists that train and study and teach others, but they barely have this after treatment roleplay, because a lot of people just come in. Yeah, sorry.
I don't mean to interrupt. Just these are people that went through, so became an intern, assistant, and then became a nurse, then became a doctor, and then specialized themselves into. Yeah, exactly. So they put a lot of time and effort into this, right? Yeah. And they're being overseen then, Yeah.
So not overseen, I think. Well, yeah, you can say that, but I think not
underutilized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just don't really see that. They think, I need to provide my medical roleplay in this exact moment, even though there's a lot of other stuff. For example, you can compare it to law roleplay, really. There's the initial arrest, of course, but then there's also the transport to Sisika. Then there's the Sisika roleplay, which at the moment I know is sometimes not around as much, but we are trying to change things from staff perspective. But still, there's a lot of aftermath after the initial incident, basically, and people, I think, may just oversee it and may just think, oh, I need to have this major role play. And yeah.
Sorry.
No,
I
you're
was
fine.
so guilty when I first started medical roleplay because on any server I'd been on in the past, I was already new to Redem in itself, right? Especially text RP, I was very new to. So I was very guilty of I've been injured. I need to do a very involved, very intense medical scene post that lasts a long time or something like that, right? While then also not really giving myself enough time to do the aftercare very much. That is something I only learned later on. Actually, I want to say after Amelia died, that there's a lot more value, in my opinion, to taking your time with smaller injuries than going like, dude. Every time she like was unconscious, I had her close to death, right? Like, there was no need for it, and it was. This is not supposed to like be discouraging from like doing like taking your injury very serious, but I think there is kind of a disconnect sometimes where people think that I'm providing more enjoyment for my medical role player if I RP something very serious and very grievous wounds than simply just doing a detailed smaller wound. Um, there's a there's a lot of value in both, I think, but I think one of the doctor's office's biggest struggles is that we see people, they do really great medical RP with us in the scene itself, and they're like, oh, they're like really like describing a detailed injury, and then they just get revived, and then they
Run
don't do
off.
anything. Yeah, they run off, and then you get shot again 2 minutes later, right? Especially the lawman. I love you guys, but still.
But don't you get most of the injuries you do is it's like med RP, isn't it connected to injuries?
Yes, most of
Yeah.
the
Yes.
injuries are connected to it. Yes.
Because a lot of those like special doctors
Yeah.
would probably concern themselves more with, like you said, aftermath, but also leading up to, like I had Douglas go to the doctors to get weighed, on a
Oh,
scale.
yeah, yeah.
Because
Oh.
Did you gain
'cause
weight?
a lot. And asked him like how if he's healthy and stuff like that, and I was wondering like those things, injury connected med RP, and also RP that just kind of stems out of whatever happens. You RP,
Yeah.
you hammer your finger, not an actual
100%,
injury.
yes.
Yeah.
One of the things me and Chi also talked about is one of the things that is the most underutilized on Ranch, in my opinion, is, and I mean this with all the love in my heart, illness roleplay that isn't TB.
Oh,
For the love of God,
Yes.
tuberculosis, that we have a whole list of illnesses that existed at the time. When I had influenza in real life and I still wanted to play Ranch, I had Jane drag her ass to Valentine and be diagnosed with influenza. And I had it for like 2 weeks, and I rolled with it, and she had like unkempt hair and stuff like that, and a red nose. There's so much you can do with it. But I see sometimes also that a lot of people kind of deviate towards modern diseases that they know about instead of the
COVID?
stuff that no, not COVID. Oh God, sorry, hold on, my
Please
cat is
don't.
stuck.
I'm gonna pick up on that. Basically, now that you're hearing about this as well, we are going into the winter season. Like,
Oh, yes.
just do a cold. Like, just have a
Yeah.
cold. It's whilst maybe not as severe as you might have it in real life, because, well, in 1899, I'm gonna give you some heroin for your cough, and in 2023, that might be just something different, or hopefully is gonna be. We love to get people just come in and have these smaller things, basically something different that isn't
Something as simple as a
related
rash,
to
honestly.
as well. Just
Yeah,
bring
'cause
it in.
That's one of my things. Like I'm gonna talk out of personal experience here, because some of the people that are here right now probably saw it earlier tonight on my stream. So I was riding from Blackwater to Annisburg, right? I get down by a pack of wolves. Lenny, the doctor, I don't know, he's a doctor out of Annisburg, came and did medical RP. I then, after that, got down by cougar, and then I got to a destination. Another cougar snuck up on me without any sound and got me again. Right. So my question here is that if I within 30 minutes, 45 minutes, have been downed by animals, right? I'm like, I'm over this now. I'm done with this.
As a
I'm
Rainier
done with it.
CK.
But
Yeah.
people come up, like a doctor come up to me, I'm like, yeah, but oh man, like
Mhm.
Should I make
I
it
think-
a serious thing? Should
Yeah,
I
think I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I can tell
you.
you from personal experience that as a doctor, at least, when I got injured, and there's a difference in injury that are RP important in my opinion, and injuries that you cannot tell me that I have to take this serious because this was not my fault. Like, let's say there's a bug and you accidentally fall off somewhere. Like, I don't care if you just say that, oh, I just have a little bruise on my knees, you know? Like, I will accept that 100%, right? That is not your fault. And I might be the only one on this, but the only thing with animal attacks, right? I really, like, you can RP with me that half your throat was pulled out and then you somehow live, but whatever. You can do that 100%, but you can also tell me that they barely even scratched you because you got to safety or something like that. That's fine with me as well. The one thing I will say with animals, though, for the love of God, please, everyone listening, stop saying a horse kicked you in the head. You are dead if that happens. Stop it. I'm begging you, please.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now, what my concern with the
Yeah.
with the animal attacks is, right?
Yeah.
And I think this stems from you guys being so thorough. No matter if you meet the newest doctor or the most experienced doctors, you guys have these on speed dials or your stream deck, the checking for injuries. You guys are so thorough. And I come up here, I was like, I just want to move
rabies?
on. Yeah, like I just want to move on with my RP, but you guys are being so thorough. Every single doctor being so thorough. I was like, man, I should probably make more out of my injury for their sake. You know what I mean? Because they're putting so much effort into it. Who am I to just say?
Yeah, there's a very delicate balance to it, I would say.
You can make. Sorry. No, you go.
No, I love you. Wait, who's talking?
You start.
Okay, I will start. I will say, as a doctor, so when I, as Amelia, came across someone in the wild, I feel like as doctors, you can always tell if this is someone who feels like this injury is not something they want to interrupt their day with, right? All I ask is that you answer my prompts, that you don't like alt tab and don't pay attention to what I'm doing to you and just expect me to just revive you and then tell you to get lost or something. All I think most doctors want is that you give it a serious, like, at least that you like give it like a little bit of thought, right? But if it's something that you feel like, fuck, man, I just got attacked by wolves and now this shit, right? If you don't want to like go too in depth with it, I don't think any doctor's gonna fault you with it. But for the doctor's side as well, some doctors then all they get is people who just want to rush through their medical RP, right? So it's a delicate balance thing, in my opinion. And I think no one can fault you for saying, I'm not going to take this cougar bite as serious as I took those wolf bites. But also no one can then fault the doctor for feeling like, fuck, man, these guys are all just pushing me aside. I was trying to do something. I personally, when I am on my characters and I'm being treated by a doctor, I can also always tell, I feel, in their /me's and their like emoting and all that, how serious they want me to be, if that makes sense. Like you can, you just kind of get a sixth sense for it. Gee, you go ahead, love.
You're fine. Well, that sixth sense comes when you were a medical professional 100%. For many months. But basically, I think what people forget is which we already said, if it's an animal attack, or regardless of what it is, if you think it validates the scene leading up to it, validates a serious injury, keep in mind your roleplay afterwards, not only during the scene but also afterwards, need to be as thorough as the scene provided to you beforehand and during medical roleplay should be. So whilst the scene with, I must say, criminal 1, which is a known criminal, did this long torture scene with you, right? The doctor comes and sees this, and you have like these heavy injuries, and the doctor then provides you with a lot of questions, because we always want to make sure that whatever is realistic. So sometimes I'm after 10 years of my doctor's 10 years being a doctor, basically, or even more now, I think, her stitches outside won't be fucking up every time anymore, right? So I'm not gonna ask you if they hold, but like the things that are realistic and are realistic of me to ask are the things that I know you want to have a choice over. Other things, like for example, things that would be something that you may not know. I will most likely decide myself whether or not it should be something serious. For example, that being, I don't know, me removing a bullet. Usually I go and grab the bullet and take it out, and then I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna ask you, would this hit like major arteries or something. I would be like, would the removal work properly? Would we have any complications? And if then the person decides to go further in depth, then I would then ask more questions. But the basics are always being asked. And then you kind of go from there. And you really, when you answer to those, you really want to be like, do I want to have this go very long? For example, a bone break. I had it the other day. Shout out to Javier. He had a bone break, and he didn't know which break, be it a clean break or with fractures. He didn't know which one would, be more serious, be more longer, to have this role play afterwards of healing, basically, and going back into the normal roleplay life, so to say, after a couple of days. So he asked in /me's. That is something I really, really urge everybody to do. Your doctor will be more than happy to provide you with the answers. Every nurse, every intern, everybody, even if you just slip into their DMs and be like,
help.
Hey, can you tell me what should I be roleplaying with this? We are more than happy to sit down and give you a long list of what injuries would be good. How long they would be.
I need you to expand on that real fast, because that's one of my things as well. Is that if you say slip into DMs. If you don't know the person, the doctor, it's hard to find. DM them.
True. Yeah.
Because I thought of this when Xiaoli just wrote soft bump versus hard bump. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
I will take. My favorite thing about doctors is when they guide you. Okay, I wish I could just leave all Dr. RP, just leave it in their hands, and all their /me's and do's. They don't even have to do any /me's and do's. Just do it vocally, right? But the thing is, I had no idea what the fucking difference between a soft bump or a hard bump is. I had no idea. No idea whatsoever. I said the wrong one first, and people in my chat were going like, "Ha ha ha ha! You're
gonna die."
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, so my thing is here. When is it like? I know that we say always stay in character, but how do if you have no idea what the fuck the doctor is literally asking you in their /me's, you're like, when is it okay to ask? And how?
I can tell you I can tell you the example right now that I had the other day with Javier. Drew, I'm sorry. You can.
No, go ahead.
I'm not just. He literally just did /me. What would be the difference? And then I did my. So, I firstly vocally explained it to Sage, who was there as well on her other character, but and then to him, of course, as well, because the player itself is coherent. But I also did it in /me's. I'd be like, yeah, so a fracture would be this and this. And a clean break would take you a little bit less time because we can just plate it up and so forth. It's really just use it. Whilst, yes, it might be sometimes frowned upon, make it not a joking way. Don't be like, I don't know what this is, XD, but be informative or question informative wise.
So it's okay. Question. So it's okay for a player that does a player unconscious, just been shot, just been mauled. It's okay. What you're saying, guys, is that it's okay because some of the new players that listen to this might be like, I'm too scared to actually ask in a /me or /do. Can I be guided, please? Or what does this mean? So what you're saying is to a doctor in medical RP, it's okay?
Yeah.
Good.
Because it has so much impact on your character if you are doing 100%. Something wrong.
You don't want to accidentally do something.
I wouldn't do it everywhere, but for medical RP, it's definitely.
You don't have an option when you're unconscious, or when you don't have an option besides, RPing through /me's and /do's. So I want everybody to know that it's okay that if Drew, if Amelia rises again and comes and helps you out, and she asks you and you don't understand, it's okay to ask them in a delicate way. in a /me/do that I don't understand, please guide me, or
Yeah.
you know.
I can give a very specific example for this, actually. So
Please
I'm
do.
a person who I despise the usage of /me to convey OSC information. Okay, that is one of my big things. But if you put it in brackets, it's the same to me as you ask, like, as someone asking for consent to do torture roleplay.
Yeah.
It is exactly the same for me, right?
Mm.
So if you put it in brackets and say, please guide or something like that, I will. You'll also see it with hard bump and soft bump. Oftentimes, doctors who notice, oh, you're putting a soft bump, but we can kind of tell that you seemed kind of new to medical RP based on your answers and stuff like that. We will then start almost narrating to ourselves, like, oh goodness me, I hope this isn't actually a soft bump, because
that is the best thing when
a
you
lot
guys
of
talk
doctors
to
do
yourself.
that. Yes, we
Mhm.
talk to
Talk to
ourselves,
yourself.
or we take a chance to use the fact that we have an intern or nurse nearby to kind of explain, and then we come back in. I say this 100%, and doctors may disagree with me, everyone can, but I would never mind if someone changed their injury after they realized I've just told someone basically that, like, I had someone who once accidentally told me something where they would have to have that leg amputated. They didn't want to do that, and I allowed them to change it by, like, narrating kind of in front of myself, like, goodness me, I've never performed that amputation before. What am I going to do? Like, sort of like this, right?
Me as well.
Oh, no. But
like
I will
oftentimes I
say,
think all of us are a bit like
Yeah.
our characters sometimes might be viewed as very crazy because we just start talking to ourselves simply because
Yeah.
we want to explain something to someone by doing it
Mhm.
vocally. So we had it oftentimes, I think Drew and I as well, in character while standing next to each other. Person comes in, shattered leg. I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god,
no.
Emma. Oh no. I
What
need to
are we
check
gonna
again, and
do?
then I'm gonna be like, take off my glasses and clean it. I'm gonna be like,
Takes
oh,
a
did
closer
I
look.
see this right? Like, it's
Yeah,
really,
100%.
yeah, it's
very much
really
so.
like, yeah.
The only thing
We
I
will
will
definitely
say,
ask.
I think actually, like, there is, however, a bit of a divide between you changing your injury based on you found out that this is too serious than what you want to roleplay, versus you suddenly inventing an injury that was not there when someone checked. This is something that
Yes.
sometimes happens where you've checked someone's injury over, you've done your thorough medical OP, you know you have done what you need to do. You've checked several times interior wound, is there any damage? It's been no. You close it up, suddenly they're leaking blood from there or something like that. Like, and then there's suddenly an arterial bleed. Yes, realistically, doctors can miss things and all that stuff, but you're kind of, in my opinion, you're kind of forcing a doctor to have been like negligent almost. So it's a bit frowned upon.
Yeah.
It's a bit different, in my opinion, though, if it's something that how do I say this? That how do I say this? That was an afterthought. Like, did you needed it to be this, and you just kind of realized, oh no, wait, oh god, oh, and then that kind of thing is a bit different. But for doctors, it's important to us that what you give us is what we get, and you'll also see doctors asking you again. By the way, what was that injury on your leg? Because we'll forget because we've just been focusing on your chest injury.
Well, that's a generic RP thing. What you get is what you get. You know what I mean?
100%. But I think that sometimes gets just forgotten a little bit. But yeah, anyway.
I also would suggest very much. Oh, I'm sorry. I also would suggest very much to people to always check, always tell the doctor if they want to like keep on going with injuries and they don't provide it in the first glance of a doctor checking you over. Always provide the major injury that needs to be treated first to keep your character alive first, because otherwise they'll be like having this bump on the head, be it a hard bump. They're all treating that first, and suddenly there's like this huge gash on the patient's
abdomen,
thigh, and it has been, or abdomen, it has been bleeding out the whole time, and you're like, oh shit!
Wait,
like I would have seen it, but now I didn't see it. So it was, I've had that several times where I was like, oh shit! If someone saw this, I would be losing my medical license right now.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
No, this is great. This is like everything I'm hearing right now is so informative. You know what I mean? Like this really helps out. Even like I'm gonna call myself a veteran role player on Range Roleplay. I've been here for some time now. Spend my fair amount of minutes on the server, but I've learned new stuff. I've learned how to
I've learned a lot.
approach it
honestly.
better, and and I know a lot of new people as well are probably going to be looking at that. Yeah, no, it's absolutely great. One thing I wanna ask you guys about, because I think that is something I can't remember if we talked about on the LFM podcast or if there's something I spoke to Bird and Benny, I think. What about robbing those medical offices?
Oh boy.
I heard that nobody does that. That's what I heard. Nobody does that. Nobody actually goes in and robs.
So that's actually not true. I have to say. Just now, I can tell you. I think yesterday the Annesburg office was robbed. Full meta. Yeah, it's a bit of a confusing situation, really, because you gotta look at the offices would be locked if we would be able to, or we are able to, but it doesn't really make sense to have the counters outside, right? The where you can buy the medical kits.
Like we
and the
used to have in
bandages.
Valentine.
Yeah, exactly. So we used to have these tables set up that the mapping team provided with all the medical kits and such. If those were there, then we would be locking up all the offices, because we know as doctors in character, those offices have a lot of like drugs. Like everybody could just, they're just glass doors, right? That the drugs are behind. So everybody could be like, let me just fucking knock down this glass window and just grab whatever medicine I want. And some people do that.
Too
and
much. What can you get from it? Without I don't know.
It's just,
you say cocaine?
Just,
like what?
No,
it's
just
legal.
Well, all the drugs are legal, really.
Yeah, you can just go to the general store and buy them.
Yeah, but what I mean is like, is there any function for?
There's no items.
No.
Oh, okay.
There's no. So we do have that set up. This is just me from an LFM point talking and admin point now. But we do have those set up. We are waiting on the faction recipe script so that doctors can actually make them. And then robbing offices, full meta for everybody out there, would be able to,
be a thing. Yeah.
Actually rob them and so forth. It's just that at this current time, there's nothing really in place. So people have been doing it still. They've been like, for example, I know some previous doctors that know their shit and that know medical RP, or people that have been teaching it themselves or to themselves, studying it and so forth. They've been robbing doctors' offices simply so that the RP is there, that they actually get supplies somewhere, which is great. I love that to be happening. But then others are like just going in and just being like, we've been having it in the past, where people have been just going in, trolling around and just grabbing cocaine from everywhere. And
let me go get this heroin. Like, okay, go get
we
it
as doctors
store, like.
would have like major things like those, because they're relatively important for us to prescribe. We have those in the safes that we have in each office. Basically, there's a safe in each office. For example, Valentine in the back room, if anybody saw already, there's a safe in the wall. Basically, that is where we would have our major medications, not like something like motor joints. That's just herbal for us, herbal medication. We've been actually now getting it legal for doctors, and we are prescribing it very, very regularly, but the major stuff would be like in the back offices. I mean, people, as long as they're role playing, they don't know it. So. Also, yeah.
Okay, I mean, no.
You can find them everywhere. But yeah.
That motor joint that you guys are prescribing, is that something?
Yeah.
That say, oh, I'm in so much pain. Can you give me some? And I need one for later as well. And then could you then? I don't know how motor joints actually work. If it's like moonshine, that you can sell it to NPCs.
It's not.
No, you cannot sell it to NPCs.
To my knowledge, it just functions as a cigarette, right?
At this current time, it would just function as a cigarette. It is. I know the processed hemp is illegal. The unprocessed one is legal due to cigar companies needing them. And it's we've been for a year now we haven't had this option for motor joints. It's been still done, like unofficially. We went to the sheriff's offices and be like, look, this fella kind of doesn't want or shouldn't be getting phenacetin, which is just a pill like aspirin, and this fella doesn't really need cocaine or laudanum or anything major. So I want to give him something herbal. Can you give me a motor joint? But now the doctor's offices have them, and they can be prescribed, and it's basically just a cigarette, really, that we give people to smoke. That has some lightening effects.
One thing I want to touch on here is, let's say you go down. Let's say you're up in fucking Coulter, I think it's called.
Oh God!
And you get eaten by a wolf, right? Let's say you get eaten by a wolf up there. You scream for the doctor. You wait a minute. You scream for the doctor. All right. From when you get down, you got 10 minutes until you can respawn. Right. But sometimes you are so fucking far away that, you're just sitting there going, ain't nobody going to come with me, get me within 10 minutes. And we do have the server. Here. We do have the server rule, as well. You can't be down for more than 30 minutes, otherwise you're going to get permanent brain damage or something like that.
Yeah.
What are you guys? Because we never know. Because again, it all depends on who's online. There might be 200. The server might be full. There might be a queue of 100 people, right? But only 10 doctors online. They're just down in Armadillo for a mass casualty, or spread out somewhere else, right? And you sit there and you wait.
Yeah.
I usually go. I'll wait the 10 minutes, then I'll respawn. If nobody comes up. But, a doctor might be like literally fucking 30 seconds away from your screen.
I've seen people respawn just as I arrived. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sinks into the ground in front of you.
Yeah, literally.
So,
literally.
Yeah. So basically, my rule of thumb for myself also has always been and will always be, first and foremost, when I get down I know we now have this system where when we get down by another player, our inventory stuff gets lost, or our hotbar stuff gets lost. Yeah, definitely. Like in those situations, I can agree that someone, would be screaming at any point. However, in situations where I'm like up in Coulter, like Glacier, I must say, and I fell down somewhere, would I be actually heard, first of all, by anybody around? That is like from me, for my roleplay perspective. No local, how we roleplay, either we actually hear the patient scream because it's right
close by
in town, basically, or we have a locals coming up to us and telling us, here, this patient is injured. Mostly I'm usually thinking, okay, I'm up in Coulter, far away from civilization, usually. Would I be found here in a normal scenario? If I'm not, and I wasn't shot down, it was just a wolf attack, I personally wouldn't even scream. I would just respawn at that point.
Yeah.
I would.
That's
just
an
go from
important
there.
thing as well. You get the option to choose if you scream or not. That is something people.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, they will quickly resort to, well, I have to scream for the doctor's office, right? I have to. I'm in the middle of nowhere. What am I going to do, right? But if you, obviously, we're not supposed to use the knowledge of, oh, if I respawn and I was only attacked by a bear or something, I'm fine. Like, I don't lose my stuff, whatever. That stuff, like, yeah, we're not supposed to use that. But at the same time, you're in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. Like Team explained, there's no locals there to hear you. The chance of someone just randomly coming across you is very low. The chance of anyone hearing you having gotten unconscious is very low. Take the time before you scream. That's why we have that countdown before you can scream for a doctor, to consider what should I do here, right? And also during that time personally, I think it was, I forgot who it was, but someone told me once that when they had that happen to them when they were in Coulter in the middle of nowhere and they ended up having to respawn, that they role played out that they had gotten lost in a snowstorm and they legitimately like were very lucky to be alive, sort of thing, right? And they had to role play out their injuries afterwards. Also, the role-playing out your injuries after respawning is something a lot of people forget, if you ask me. Like, there's not a lot of people who remember that you are supposed to still seek medical aid after having respawned.
That also depends on the situation. If it's a
is
PK, because it is a player versus player, then it is a PK, then you shouldn't be going into the office anymore. If it's an animal attack, and you chose to because it was out nowhere, or even if it wasn't out nowhere, and a doctor just didn't come because hell, if sometimes people yell, even OC in OC chats, and be like, no doctor came, blah blah blah. You do not know the amount of patients we have to deal with every single day. Having a coffee, sometimes I just go downstairs to grab a coffee. It's not there. You can't. It's just not possible. But so just if it's an animal attack, you fell down somewhere, and you really want this medical RP, we are more than happy to provide that to you. Just come in and be like, oh, I just wrapped this cloth around my arm. I really got bitten the other hour or a couple minutes ago, and someone, this local doctor found me, and they like wrapped this around me and gave me like some pain meds for now, but like I really feel like I could use some help here. We're more than happy to help you there.
100%.
Like, come up, say hi,
and get a rabies shot. Very important.
That's very important.
In roleplay, a lot of the times I used to, at least when it was introduced that you lost items, that when a person had killed you and you respawn, right? The way I used to explain that away was that the local doctor who rescued you steals your guns because he's a corrupt doctor. There's many ways that you can kind of like, I think I even used to say that it's because he's a pacifist and he hates that people are getting injured. So he steals guns so that you can't shoot people anymore and all that stuff, right?
I think it's also because some people forget. Some people forget that they just think 100%. that every time you're down and you respawn, oh my god, I use everything on my hot bar.
Yeah.
Like
that
it's
usually
only when PMP enabled.
Yeah. It's usually newer players who are worried about it.
Yeah.
And even then, I mean, yes, I get it. Your very special, bolt action rifle was lost. It's tragic. But you're supposed to be... I think the biggest problem sometimes, and that's why I'm very happy that the whole get up system has happened now, where like injuries that aren't as grave anymore, you're allowed to get up and walk around after that. Because I think sometimes people forget, every time you fall unconscious, you are supposed to take, like fully unconscious, not like you can get up again, but fully brutally wounded is what it says down there, right? You are supposed to take that as, fuck, I almost died. Like you are, yes, I get that in roleplay, sometimes things happen and we just kind of have to have a little laugh about some stuff sometime, right? But your character needs to be thankful that they are alive rather than sad that they lost their very precious gun. Oh my, not the gun.
$30 rifle.
You can apply that to a lot of things in RP.
100%,
it's like when people are shooting other people, essentially, you're shooting to kill. If you are actively trying to get this person to 0 HP, you're not walking up doing a slash kneecaps them. You are actively trying to kill.
100%. You are supposed to treat every time you get someone unconscious, you're supposed to treat that as this person can potentially CK.
Yeah.
Never stop taking that serious, because first of all, there are role players out there who are just, they'll do it. They don't care. They're willing to do it because for the story, right?
Exactly.
And there's also, I think
it's
or roll
also a low dice roll.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, let's talk about dice rolls. Oh, I love dice rolls. Okay. Every time I get
19.
unconscious, I set a flag to myself about how gravely wounded am I, right?
Yeah.
If I roll a nat one, well, even though I just fell off this step, I'm gonna have to break my leg. You know what I mean? I love using dice rolls. Love doing that. I knew a crazy guy once, fucking Sentinel Chi, you know him. He did death rolls, right? He did death rolls for each time he fell unconscious. If he rolled, I think it was a nat 1 or a 7, that's a pretty dice. He would basically be considered like D&D dead and had to do death saved throws and all that.
Oh.
Yeah. And that would then determine whether or not he had to CK. There's a lot of stuff you can do that, Oh, God. Yeah.
Hey, Dave, I'm going to let you ask some of your professional questions because I've had way too much coffee and way too much water today, so I'm just going to quickly go up,
Wait, he didn't bring us with him. What the hell? Sorry.
Bring us with you.
No, but
I want to see you piss.
Yeah. this girl.
to pick up on that, basically, I think a lot of people don't really. I know that DOJ, for example, and LFM and CRM, or Criminal Roleplay Management, the server as a whole, we have taken a step back of for CKs, or staff CKs, basically, because we want everybody to make their own choice in regards to roleplay, and to CK in that sense, and when they want to CK that character. However, I think a lot of people need to understand that the choice of actually taking the gun and shooting someone down should already come with at least partially the choice of, if I'm being caught that I just shot this man point blank,
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, 100%.
then I literally was trying to take that life. I was trying to CK a person. If they did or not is up to them, right? But if there was someone literally dying and so forth, people need to understand, just simply from a roleplay point of view, not even from a staff point of view, but roleplay point of view. If I take my gun, you would have gotten hung back in the day, and or even executed right then and there by law. Like, law didn't fucking give a fuck.
Yeah,
For the sake of roleplay, of course, people want to expand that, but there's only so much, So doctors coming to this masses on mass casualties always is quite funny to me, because for us doctors, we're like, why did all these people not take it into consideration, or even if they took it into consideration, why are all these people shooting against each other all the time? Like, literally a group of people shooting each other throughout the whole day, like 6 mass casualties that day. I was like, y'all are dead. Like, there's nothing I can do for you anymore. I'm not even gonna come to you anymore. This is like a waste of my time, OOC, and IC. It doesn't make sense for me at all. It's immersion breaking for me as a doctor and medical role player. So people need to understand and kind of make their mind up of, like, if I shoot someone, they can literally die. So do I really want to take the gun in my hand and actually pull the trigger? Or do I want to go, like you said, just gonna go up to them and be like, would shoot the kneecap, or threats them, or things like those. It's fun, it's roleplay, but actually shooting people, for me, is just very simple, very much something even as a lawman, I had Bella as a lawman for 1.5 months. Even then, Bella barely ever shot, because it could mean that not only my character, Bella, who was also, I'm fearing for her life, she is fearing for her own life, would be potentially shot as well, and would have to deal with the consequences. But I would also have to deal with the consequences of my character potentially killing someone. So that has mental consequences, that has consequences in RP, like there would be an investigation. Would it have been necessary to actually kill that person, shoot that person, and so forth? All of that is something that I think gives your character even more depth, in my opinion. And should be something people should consider it more.
Definitely. I played Amelia as a 100% pacifist. She had only ever aimed a gun at another person once, and that was in defense of Martha. And the only other time where she...
Miss Martha?
Yes. Miss Martha, yes.
You defended Martha?
Of course I do.
Hey,
she's
she's
my
great.
mother on every character
Martha.
I have.
I love
She
Martha.
is my mother on every character I play. But no. And Amelia never shot another person. The only time she ever ended up having to hurt someone was when fucking killed her ass. Anyway, having a doctor character be a pacifist gave me at least so much chance to talk about pacifism in my doctor RP as well. I would get angry with people, and I'd be arguing with people about, why are you doing this? Why are you basically going around being a murderer? And one of those things is just it is, I think it's really underutilized a lot, as you mentioned. In my opinion, /me's text RP in general is the backbone of the doctor's office. But I think it is underutilized in everything else on the server, in my opinion. more criminal needs to make use of it outside of just torture roleplay. You do it all the time. Basically, all my RP as Jane is text RP, by the way, and I couldn't have done that if I hadn't had a doctor RP background, because the entire thing that myself, at least, that made me fall in love with Doctor RP was I watched, fucking giving him shout out again, Sentinel, do a surgery, and I had never seen /me's be utilized like that before, and I loved it. I loved it so much. When you pay attention to how carefully and also how much personality is crafted into the /me's that some doctors use. Yes, there's some that it's just checks pulse, fixes that, like kind of rushing through it. But most doctors have their own unique twist on how they do it. And it's so interesting to watch. And I remember specifically what got me into doctor roleplay was when I was watching that medical scene, I could visualize it in front of me. I don't know if that's my ADHD and autism and all that, but I could visualize it in front of that I could see what was happening, despite the fact that there was no emotes. It's just a dude standing in front of a bed with someone laying on it, right? But I could see it in front of me, and it was very, very interesting. And I think it is something that is severely underutilized on the server, where some people, if there's no system for it, if there's no menu, if there's no emote for it, they can't really get us into it. And I think that's one of those great things about the doctor's office, that you will start getting more comfortable with that. Like, you will start being able to visualize things a lot more in front of you, and it needs to be utilized in a lot of different ways, because then you'll also get better at your med RP.
Yes.
Very good.
I'm gonna open up for some questions, if we got anyone from the viewers right now. I know that we always we try. I told Drew, when we're doing it, go ahead, read the chat, because there's gonna be people that love you and support you. Go ahead and you get it, but don't let it ruin your train of thought. And we always do at the when we reach towards the end, we always open up. So if anyone's got any questions for either Mima or Drew, not so much me and Dip. We don't want to talk to you guys. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't ask us.
Any medical roleplay, or Mima or Drew, go ahead.
I will just quickly say, sorry. The specializations that I could answer questions for are OBGYN and psychiatry. Gee, I don't remember what specializations Bella has.
I had them all at some point.
She's
collected all of them.
No, not anymore. So which ones there are is actually we have quite the range.
Yeah.
So we have OBGYN, so women's health, pregnancies. We got
STDs.
That as well. No. We do have shrinks. We have psychiatrists.
That's
we
a
have
good one.
It's a shrink.
Dermatologists. We have optometrists for your eyes, and all these people losing their eyes. I swear to God, half the server doesn't have a second eye anymore. We have general surgeons, who are the more advanced
surgical specialist,
surgeon.
actually, Bella.
Yeah. No, general surgeon now, my darling.
Really? It got changed back again?
Yeah, it got changed back again. Then we have the physical therapists, very, very after treatment based. Then we got the orthopedics. I'm missing someone. We got, of course, the coroners or medical examiners. You're responsible for your dead character. And
that's Grandma, right? She does that a lot.
Yes, Grandma is basically mother of our
yes, she is.
Shout out. Love you.
I'll just check if I'm missing some.
Pathology? Did you mention pathology?
Let me do Drew then.
Oh yeah, pathology as well.
Orthopedics, optometry.
This is a legit question. Psychology appointment.
Yes.
PTSD. Because
no.
Not just for Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Kemberger. We know he's batshit crazy. But people were talking to me when someone came up to me after I was kidnapped for over a week in real life out in Mexico, that I needed to talk to someone about this. I know that Frank Campbell had a very great scene with someone who was digging into his brain.
Yeah.
How do you go about getting someone to sit down and have a talk? Man, I've been through some tough shit, man.
Yeah. So, very first thing I got to bring up, and this is something that is so heavy for me to say, but PTSD was not a thing at the time. It was not called that. PTSD is a term that's
It was
called.
it was a thing,
It was a thing,
but it was not a
100%,
term
yes.
that was used.
Yeah.
But I will say that. Oh, sorry. I will say that I don't go around correcting people about this as much anymore because it is simply just a matter of it's hard to do psychology RP in many ways because we have in 1899 we've basically just moved away from let's just put them in this room and shock therapy them, like
He's got ghosts in his blood.
yeah, literally. So it is all a little bit new, but in general, a good word for PTSD is soldier's heart and other things like that. But anyway, but the way that I always went about it as Amelia, right, is people would either be sent to me. I had Jesse Darling sent to me as Amelia because he was he had some problems going on and all that stuff.
Yeah, I understand, but more, how does a
No, go ahead.
player that wants
Yeah.
to, like, someone come up to me and told me, you need to talk to someone, Rainier. How do
Yeah.
I go about finding someone? Who do I
Oh,
go? Do I go
you
see
send
Bella
a-
and
you
say,
send a
Bella,
telegram.
please tell? Yeah, but who do I send
Yeah.
a telegram to?
So, first of all, you
Like
can go up
Doc?
to any doctor. You can go up to any doctor. You can also send a telegram to Doc and ask them, I have been advised by someone that I need to speak to some sort of shrink, for example. You could say that if you want to. But yeah, they will then give you either the telegram for a psychologist specialist, or they will send you to, I believe it's Psych at the moment, Chi. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Mhm.
The Telegram group. And
PSYCH.
yes, you can send a telegram. I personally advise don't go too don't sit there and diagnose yourself, right? I had someone once who tried to say that he has bipolar. Again, you can 100% roleplay that your character has bipolar, but you would not know that, okay? At this time, if you have heard voices, if you were like neurotic, you'd be ashamed of it. And
Yeah.
that's hard to say because we don't want to shame people. And especially in the doctor's office a lot, like in the psychology department. Monroe's psychology department is basically a massive outlier in the sense that they will never try to how do I say this? Make you feel wrong or whatever. From all of the psychology RP I've seen thus far, everyone is very, very respectful and all that. Like you won't have someone who's like trying to, I don't know, be weird with you or something like that. But yeah, you would just send a telegram, say kind of what's been going on, what happened to you, for example, and that you've been encouraged to talk to someone. A psychologist would pick that telegram and say, yeah, we can talk. They'd set up a meeting, and then you'd basically go and sit down somewhere quiet, most likely the psychology office or somewhere else that's nice and quiet, and they would talk to you. And in my experience, it's been a little bit since I did psychology RP, but last time I did it, it's kind of different for each psychologist what they do. Sometimes they have prepared questions for you. Sometimes they literally, like a real shrink, just sit down with you and say, so why do you feel like you needed to come here today? They will you will most likely, if you've ever been to a shrink in real life, you'll recognize the way of speaking and the way of talking and all that from real life psychology. But yeah, most of it is really just, I personally, what I loved about doing it, I sat down with Faded Angels once, who played Faith Fairfield, I think her name was. I want to say that.
Yeah, Faith and
Anyway,
Chrissy.
yeah, I got a chance and I sat down with her and did an RP scene with psychology. And it's basically a chance for me as a doctor to have a character be allowed to recount their entire life for you.
Yeah.
It is very interesting. It's like reading a character backstory thing, but you get the character narrating that life to you.
Yeah.
And
the emotions in the voice and everything.
And pulling it apart and all that. It's very, very interesting in my opinion. But yeah, and I also had a scene with.
But just to
go ahead.
get back to because
sorry.
we get a lot of questions here.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, we do encourage this.
No.
You know, this is what we want. We want exactly this type of RP. But as a G, sorry, not as a G, I guess your best friend. How do we
best friend in
encourage?
my whole world.
Yeah. How do we encourage more people to go and just have general checkups for common colds and flus?
Ooh.
And allergies.
Allergies are called bad reactions.
Allergies are bad reactions, please.
They're called bad reaction.
No, but yeah,
Yes,
they're
you're
called
having a bad reaction
reactions,
to a
yes.
peanut. You don't have a peanut allergy.
Yes.
Our dog has bad reactions to citrus. Then I need to
Yes.
rewrite the song.
C is for citrus.
But in general, personally, I found that if you're being a role model with it, many people, especially when you're a known person, many people will come follow to that. That being said, have it be someone like, I don't know,
Who's famous?
Douglas coming in or Ellery coming in for checkups. People see that and be like, the fuck? Like, why is he doing this? And then after a while, same with streamers as well.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, they would be like, you know what? This is actually nice. I'm gonna just do that as well. In general, you can also ICly be like, look, you sound very sick. I would just go to a doctor. Because we are approaching cold season and people will be having colds OOC anyways. So they can incorporate that into their character, at least for some time. People can be around others with a common cold that's, sniffly nose, or stuffy nose, or sore throat. It happens. It's normal, and people should have that in their characters more often anyway. So, yeah, as I said, just either be a role model and tell people to also do it, or just you can kidnap them as well and just drop them off at the doctor's office. That's up to you, of course.
I will quickly say one of the things that I think hold people back from role playing very common things like that is they worry that they are putting more stress on the doctors because doctors are so busy.
Yeah.
I can tell you, if I've just dealt with 15 extreme wolf bites and all that, and you sit down and I have a cold, I'm like kissing your face basically, because it's like my chance to do something very small, casual. I get to do more like normal doctor role play, because in reality, most doctors in real life, they sit in their office and they see 50 patients a day that all just have a bad had bad breath or some shit. You know what I mean? Like
Most of them don't deal with mass casts. It's
exactly, unless you work in a hospital, right? So it is a chance for us to do slow medical RP, and it's so nice. Yeah. Don't ever feel like that. But do read the room a little bit. Like don't go up like I have a cold, and then like they have like a bleeding patient on the ground. Like, okay, give me 5 minutes.
give me a second here. Swordmask goes, I may have missed this, but when people are doing their like rolls for injuries, is there a suggestion for someone who's never done that before? So I think what the question is here, like
how to do it?
Yeah, how to do it. Like how do you do something? Like how do you do a broken leg? How do you do a broken arm? How do you do a punctured lung? How do you do sore throat?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
How Rob?
So in general, personally, if I use Bella barely gets injured. Sorry. I use my the dice very often when she gets injured. It depends on why she gets injured, but if I use it, I first and foremost, as every person knows that uses a dice, have to keep in mind what am I rolling for? Severity in most cases. And then I roll in what range would be severe and what range would not be severe anymore, and so forth. And that needs to be in your head beforehand, firsthand. And then from there, you always go, in what situation am I currently in? What was the reason why I am injured? So, example being, I got shot. Then, of course, do I know where I got shot? Like, sometimes I see the chest being bleedy from my character. Then I would be like, okay, I got shot somewhere in the torso. I wouldn't do, got shot in the left side of the chest, boom, heart. Oh, goddamn, well, dead. I would always be careful with that, but in general, if it's something more severe, I would go with the torso, with the stomach. If it's something less severe, I would go with the arm. I would go with the somewhere in the leg. You can be, or in the side, depending on what side, as well as how further into the torso it goes. You can always decide that. But basically, the situation that got you there is where you decide what type of injury it is. The dice is only to decide, mostly for most people. Some people might be doing it differently, but mostly to decide the severity of the injury.
Yeah.
I'm the
Exactly.
exact same way. I decide severity based on a d20 roll. If I want to decide something more, like for example, do I want to have a punctured artery? Punctured lung, and do I want to damage an artery?
Spice it up.
Yeah, I might assign those injuries to a d6 and roll that. That's
Yeah.
basically it, really. It's not complicated. And one thing I do also is I'll give myself a number in my head. Like I'll say like I have to pass a 7 or something.
Yeah.
And if I don't pass that 7, then I have to kind of add something. I did that once, and then if I didn't pass that, I'd had to roll a d6 for like additional injuries, basically.
Yeah.
There's lots of things
you
you can
make
do.
the rules. Yeah.
You make the rules. There
Yeah,
is no
exactly.
set
You're the-
boundaries for it.
You're the
Explore
game
it yourself.
master of your own fucking D&D campaign
Yeah,
right here, man.
it is your story to tell.
Yeah. There's a great one here from Shayani. And this,
I've been
this is one I think
answering
that,
already a bit.
yeah, but I think we need to talk about it as well, because people that
Yeah.
listen to the podcast afterwards are probably not going to be, reading the chat, especially the YouTubers. Where/how would you recommend a beginner to start their Med-RP, learning in character? Oftentimes on ranch, when I asked any types of info on med training or medicine making, I was sent to the bookstore that hasn't been open since in all my time on server so far.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you want to go? You can go ahead first.
No, you
okay.
go. Love.
Okay, so basically, I've been kind of in chat already about this, but basically how it is currently my plan is to move the medical parts within that library over to the medical library that we are opening up. It is something that I have been planning and working on myself over a couple of weeks now. It's not fully finished yet, so it will be something in the future, definitely. But in general, I personally would recommend going to the doctors and specifying really what you want to do and what you want to actually have happening, because sometimes, I'm not saying that this person that is asking the question is doing that, but sometimes people just come up and be like, where can I start with medical knowledge? And then if that would be so unspecific, then I would also be like, yeah, look, you can go to any person that owns the Blackwater Library, for example, the Saint-Denis bookstore, and ask them for a book about medicine, and then you can go from there. If you actually want to train within the office, you can start as an intern or stuff like that. However, I've been thinking about opening up lectures to people. Well, we already do specialization lectures for doctors that are licensed and nurses to get into specializations. And I've been thinking about why not open that up for anybody really to kind of start getting into, and maybe potentially just sitting in and be like, you know what, this is fun. This has been fun. Now I know more. I'm not licensed for anything, but now I know more, and potentially actually getting people to join the medical office and give an incentive of like an insight basically of how we train people, whilst lectures are very theoretical and the actual training very hands-on. It still like shows a bit of what we actually do, and so yeah, it's something in the works. But being more specific with the people that you talk to sometimes helps as well.
Yeah.
Or just Telegram DOC. That is also
just Telegram. I wanna hear Drew's point of view on this one, because I feel like her words per minute are they're getting lower and lower. So I'm sorry. Hers as well.
I'm sorry.
No, nothing at you, Cheese. I can feel how.
Yes. So when it comes to learning medical knowledge, I think one of the biggest thing that holds people back is that they sometimes worry that, shit, well, I'm not officially first aid certified, or I'm not this, I'm not that, like having to be a doctor to give medical advice and all that. A lot of the reasons why we have all of that in place is because we don't want you to go around and doing, I don't know, killing someone by accident and all that. So learning medical knowledge can be done, in my opinion at least, by simply asking a doctor. They might like at first just like assume that you want to become an intern, right? I think who was it that joined the doctor's office and became medically certified because he wanted to have that knowledge and then left? There was someone that was like that. I don't remember. Sorry.
No.
Anyway, I
There
don't
would
know.
probably have been
But
several that had done that.
yes, so you can
Yeah.
like go and like try joining the medical office just so that you have some medical knowledge and all that stuff. But if it's, I think that specific person was asking about herbal medicine, right? That kind of stuff, you need to seek out a natural medicine. No, that's not. Do we still have natural medicine? Oh my god.
Or natives.
We do.
Holocaust
It's
level
our
on the
own.
Yeah.
natives.
Seek out a natural medicine specialist. Speak to them. Get some opinions from them. If it's something as simple, I need to know how I can help with someone who has a cough. What herb can I advise to them that they should drink in their tea or something and all that. That's basically it.
All right. All right. All right. We're gonna do SS Bapo, and then I'm gonna announce the giveaway. Could I work for a sheriff's office and still work towards a medical license, or do I have to go through the doctor's office?
So that is not fully fleshed out yet. I'm going to take that one over because Drew doesn't know anything about that part.
I'm like, huh?
It's not fully fleshed out yet, but I'm actually working towards something the likes, because we do have several options now within the office that once you don't want to work for the Monroe Medical Office anymore, the Pate State Medical Office that has like this whole SOPs and everything, then you can go into private practices and so forth. So from being a doctor to going somewhere else is already an option. Many have been doing. So some have went from a sheriff's office to become a doctor through the normal process, because the hands-on work is really important. And then after the usually it takes, if you're dedicated, a total of 2 or 3 weeks. And then once they got the license, they went, okay, I'm gonna go back to the sheriff's office. That is something you can do right now without any further wait. However, if you want to wait on this change happening that I'm currently waiting on, where people can get licensed by attending lectures and working on people, or kind of interning or assisting a doctor, whilst also being a lawman, it is something that we are actually working towards. What I've been kind of thinking about for some, then you can do so as well. It won't be tomorrow or the day after. It will take some time. So that's, yeah. But other than that, it is a possibility.
Back in my day, all of LSO was trying to be first aid certified, because I remember I attended a lecture that Ilva had organized with doctors and all that. First aid certification is probably the first step. I'd say that SS Babylon should seek out, right? Yeah,
definitely.
While I announce the giveaway, Chi needs to look at her DMs right now, because there's something that Dip wants to know. That
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I don't know if I can
guys,
ask.
We have a giveaway.
Yes, you can.
We have a giveaway. I'm just gonna announce the giveaway, right? And then you guys can talk about that, so people can write the keyword. Okay. We do have, from the lovely management, we have a $60 gift card giveaway for Prio here on Ranch Roleplay. $60, okay? That's a big one. I do believe that is the second highest, or is it the highest? I don't remember. I only pay the $28.75 one. Sorry, I can't afford it anymore.
$80 is the second highest.
$80? No, it's $60. 60.
Is it?
$60 giveaway. We do
that's
I'm
a gift
going
card
on the
is
website.
The 60, yeah, the gift card for priority is $60.
Oh, never mind. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So we're gonna, I don't know, what should we do with the keyword first? Should it be Meemaw? Should it be DOC? What should it be? I'd like Meemaw.
Gunshot
personally.
wound. Gunshot wound.
Mass casualty.
GSW.
Yeah.
Is it GSW? Should we do GSW? We'll do GSW, okay? All right. So the word to win $60 is going to be GSW. Type GS. No, wait. Hold on. I think. Okay, never mind. Yeah. GSW, exactly like everybody else. Type out GSW if you want to be in for the giveaway for a $60 giveaway for priority. Yes, it has been. We have been, ever since that new update came out with especially with tinting for clothing.
Yes,
boy,
I've been so busy.
I was
Oh
in
my
the queue
God.
the other day. The server was full and there was 102 people in queue. Okay.
Nuts.
GSW. Oh yeah. Thank you, Toasty. All right. And at the same time, you guys talk about Dip had a question, and you guys type out GSW.
So,
Yes.
Chi, all you doctors use so many medical supplies, right?
Yeah.
Where you get those?
So, what? We just power game. It's
Yeah.
easy. No, I'm kidding. No, we actually currently events team is also helping us with this, but we've been role playing that the ones that usually maintain the offices, we have people in place that do so for specific offices, like for example, Ophelia for Rhodes or Lenny for Annesburg or and so forth. Is the people that usually are in those towns. They order them from and do that RP to get them from the Saint-Denis docks and then distribute them in the office that they are, like sorting them in and so forth. That's been happening. However, faction crafting, like I said earlier, I mentioned it once, I think, in regards to medical kits and bandages. That is something that we're waiting on to be a script, which we can do then. Because currently, we could do it with business crafting, like all the other businesses do as well. However, we have so many doctors, and they also have like the possibility to be in another job, like being a bartender, for example. A small job or working at a general store. They couldn't be hired at both. Therefore, it wouldn't be an option for everybody. The recipes for specific stuff, like for example, medication, heroin, cocaine, and so forth, all of that will be something craftable. In addition to that, we have like specialization items. For example, there will be an urn for those that had a character CK in the front group or their family. They can get that character, that body cremated and then given in an urn. All of these nice little roleplay items, really. They won't do anything, but they're just there for the roleplay's sake and to have some pushers for the economy as well, because we will be using items from the blacksmiths, from herb pickers and whatever else basically people want to do as a job. We'll have herbal tea, herbal salve. Actually, herbal salve that we can give out in a tin to people. All that. I'm not going to give everything away, but all those nice
stuff
little
like
things. Oh,
I will say,
yes, maybe.
the way it is right now, when a doctor gives you like a bag of bandages and a tin of herbal salve, you are allowed to consider that you are having these items. It may
Yes.
not be a physical item. I see some doctors, sometimes they'll stick in like a tag on like a bottle of syrup and then say that that's like laudanum or something like that, right? Like doctors are like finding like little ways to kind of do it ourselves. Like I've seen doctors use cotton that they bought as cotton balls actually, etc. But yeah, faction crafting is something that I myself am very much looking forward to.
Me too.
You know
Me
how
too.
long that we've been hoping for that. That was a
Yes,
thing when I joined.
I've been trying to make it happen without having to bug the devs really.
Everything needs
But it
its
just
priorities.
isn't something we can do. It's not feasible currently with the scripts that we have, sadly. So we've been trying, but for now it's roleplay only, sadly. The items are actually already made. It's just that we don't have a way to craft them. So, yeah, we are just waiting on that, and as soon as that is ready, we're going to be full steam ahead and get that done.
All right. One thing I want to say now is, all right, again, I want to mention, as I've just copy pasted to be able to win the giveaway for $60 prize, type the keyword GSW. But at the same time, I want to be able to, I want to give you guys the opportunity to give some shout outs to people, to some unsung heroes. I want to give one personal out right now to my boy, Ionic Eagle, because I'm in love with his voice. And I want to give shout out to Grandma Trash. She has literally been there, I think, since I started on the server. I can't remember.
Yes.
She has been there, and she's always been a doctor. I think there was just a short time when there was a lot of trouble within the doctor's office. She might have not been an actual doctor, or taking a break or something like that. She's always been there, man. She's absolutely amazing. She does all I don't know all, but I'm part of the state Discord as well. You know, for the when people die,
Lena
there's
is
a
our
person.
backbone.
Yeah, the people
death
that
notices.
Yes.
the people that check
Oh,
dead
yes, the
people if
death
they're dead.
notices. Oh my god. Yes.
Death notices. Doing
The people
Medical
dying
examiner.
Discord?
Yes,
Medical examiner is what you're
yeah,
trying to say,
coroner.
right?
Like
Yes,
big
yes.
shout out to Grandma Trash. She's backbone as well.
Evelina.
Yeah, that's shout out to every doctor, shout out to everyone that want to do the medical RP, but I just want to,
Shout out to every patient, even though sometimes you're weird.
Yes. Very.
Stop shitting yourself.
Stop being
Yes.
weird.
Yeah. My god.
You guys have a
You
board
wanna
now,
start?
because as soon as you guys have done your shout outs, I'm gonna do the giveaway. You guys do your shout outs
Okay.
now. People, DLC, whatever you decide.
Uh,
And Opelia. Sorry, Dr. Opelia. I need a personal one here. Dr.
Ophelia.
Opelia. I love you,
Opelia.
Opelia. Opelia, I love you. I love you, Dr. Opelia. Great. All right,
Sure, you want to start?
No, I want you to start.
You're.
No,
oh,
you-
me first.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you go first.
So, because otherwise I would be showing some bias, so I'm not going to do that. But I love all the doctors I work with every single day. It's been an honor to be back and to work with y'all again, both as an admin and in character. The amount of roleplay I've been getting the last, I think, 4 months that I've been back is incredible, and I love seeing y'all, every single one of you, every day. Or almost every day, and I don't want to miss it anymore. I wouldn't want to miss it at all. I want to give a shout out to the criminals that take their roleplay in that regard as well, seriously, and that actually think twice about shooting someone, think twice about being shot. And I want to thank the law that I've been working with. Even some people are, I silly, of course, assholes. And sometimes Bella wants to put you guys in cuffs and just throw you in the pig pen or something. But y'all have been incredible as well. Working with you, y'all were giving us shout outs as well in character and providing us with telegrams of thankfulness, and all the civilians as well that have been giving us the special doctor discounts. And we have Blackwater Cafe, for example, has some doctor specials, some people specials. And today I got a coffee with a hint of corruption in it from the Blackwater general store. Just so you know, this is purely in a OSC information, of course. I'm not corrupt in any way. No, but yeah, like to everybody really that takes roleplay seriously in regards to the medical stuff. And I know it's sometimes hard and it's sometimes very exhausting for everybody involved, not just the doctors, but also the patients, and to learn all these new things. But we are very grateful for you guys keeping it open-minded in regards to that and actually going with the flow. And to those that don't, I'm not taking you into account. I'm just being a bitch right now. No, but yeah, that definitely is something we are very, very grateful for, and we want to just kind of say.
All right.
I think.
God. So I got 2 threatening Discord messages. I have to shout out. Back Bonnet, Azaji. Please vote for Randall Bonnet, because if you don't, he might CK me again, and I'm really
Very
scared.
true.
Yeah, vote for Randall Bonnet.
Second, I was violently threatened by Jane's half brother, Marvin, to shout out all of Blackwater. So I'd love to do that as well.
Yeah, my people
Literally,
down in Blackwater.
if it wasn't for Blackwater's role players, I would have been doing more medical RP. So I guess we can blame them for that. And honestly, maybe this is me being a little bit of a suck up, Chi, but I want to give a shout out to you as well. I had CK'd Amelia very like in the middle of the whole LFM changes, and I brought in Emma as my way of like I was technically not part of the doctor's office anymore when I helped with the LFM changes. But you coming in and doing all of that work, and I know how much personal time you invested in it, how much you listened, how much you took into consideration all of the work that was already done, and how much just effort you put into it. And I love you just so much. Anyway, so I want to give a massive shout out to you, and I also want to give a massive shout out to all of the doctors, because my God, is the doctor's office not one of the most I mean, let's be honest, we're a little bit dramatic. But it is
100%.
we love listen, we're theater kids over there, but we are so I don't know, I think the genuine, like, I spend so much of my free time together with Grandma of Trash as well, the friendships that have formed out of that. I play fucking Milsim armor free with one of the old doctors who's retired now. Like, the friendships I have earned in that, both OC and the stories that were told in character through that office is so amazing. And yeah, I want to also just quickly shout out to all the civilians, because as a civilian main, I know you don't get enough love. Okay, I love you guys. Please keep being ranch hands, and someone step on a nail. I really want someone to step on a nail one day and having to deal with that medical
blood
RP.
poisoning.
A rusty nail. We're talking about rusty
I was
nail.
gonna take your leg.
Of that. Like, people would die of that because it's not hepatitis. Tetanus, that's what it's called.
Tetanus.
That is one of the most common. I'm hoping I'm going to see an increase in tetanus in the doctor's office now, because tetanus was one of the most common reasons you died, because you can't cure it. You know?
My leg's dead. My leg's dead. It's falling off.
I want to say thank you for you guys being here. It's been so fucking informative today. I've personally learned a lot. As I said, someone's been around for a while now. I've learned a lot. Not just from you guys as a doctor player, but as people as well.
This.
Look at that. Look at that perfect.
Aww.
This
is a stethoscope.
Big thank to Chi.
Yeah.
She works so fucking hard, fucking, not just as a doctor, but I see what she does as an admin. Listen, she used to run the tester program as well. Man, she was everybody's mom. She still is this day to day. In all fairness, she does so much work. Big shout out to you too, Drew. Thank you for being here. Everybody, I know that people that write in chat, they're still not over that Amelia died. But she, man, the amount of work you put in for Ranch Roleplay as a character, as a player, as a person, as a staff, it is absolutely crazy. Thank you so much, Chi.
Thank you.
You are you cannot be appreciated enough. You know, you should deserve appreciation
Aw.
posts every day. You guys have no idea
Not good.
how much work she puts in behind the
She
scenes.
does.
Like,
It's insane.
it's a woman
And
that
she has a job.
She has a
Can
fucking
you believe
full-time job.
She has a full-time job. She runs LFM basically. No, not well. She
No,
runs
that's
the
not true.
doctor's
That is
doctor's
not
side.
true.
The
Please
doctor's
don't
side.
say
She's an
that.
admin. She's an admin.
Yeah.
She runs a doctor's office. She does so much shit, and I love her so much.
Takes care of kids in real life as well. I've seen that.
Oh,
I've
God.
seen it. You know?
She helps around the house.
I don't have kids myself, please.
No,
don't say-
she does everything. Literally, she is
She's
is
amazing.
a fucking goddess. With that said, I also
Okay.
want to thank Dip. Thank you, Dip, for coming up with this great idea.
Dip
Even though
delicious.
you wanted to do it in game
Oh,
first, you know,
stop
thank you
it,
for
you.
being the brains behind this whole thing. You know, thank you so much. All right. With that said, I'm going to do
Thank
the
you.
giveaway.
For being
Well,
great. And
Yeah, thanks,
wishing
you.
me happy birthday every single day.
Oh, happy
Yeah.
birthday, Doug.
Happy
Thank you for having
Thank
a
you.
good birthday every single day.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Happy
It's a running
birthday.
it's a running
drowning
gag
in
and stuff.
Oh, okay.
While I count down, because it's a little trivia here that people don't know is that the most well-dressed man in the world is not actually Dr. Atticus. It is actually Dip in real life. He wears the flyest socks in the world. Can you show your socks before? And once you've shown your socks, I will click the roll it button.
Okay.
I'm just saying,
You're gonna,
guys.
Show
see,
it.
you're gonna see my pants too. That's gonna be more
That's
embarrassing.
fine. See
'Cause
it.
they got stripes.
So there's Adidas.
But it's not a matching set. Disgusting.
Oh, what's
Rick
on your
Morty.
socks? What's
Oh.
is it Rick and
Cat
Morty?
socks.
Oh, Morty,
Yeah.
Morty.
No, it's just Rick actually. Wait, hold on.
It's just
what's on
Rick.
that?
It's
Are we
just Rick.
seeing grippers right now for free?
Ooh.
First time.
All right. I'm gonna kick. All right, do a countdown. Someone, you guys are so good at German. Do a countdown from 10.
9.
9. Ach,
From in
Seven.
German? 7, 6, 5,
4,
3,
3, 2,
1.
Los geht's.
Yay! Ah, Dr. OP!
Yeah!
Hey, Dr. Opelia!
Oh, feet! Woo!
Ophelia.
Hey, that means that we gotta get. I rigged this because she just gave me a lot of corn yesterday in game, so I rigged it. Nah, I'm kidding, of course. I'm
She
kidding.
did what?
No.
Gave
What?
him
Hello?
corn.
Yeah,
C,
corn,
not a K.
corn,
C.
corn.
I heard it. I
Yeah.
heard it.
DM me.
Gave
Oh,
him Cornwallis.
shit. Dita just got. I don't know what Dita just. That's
Huh?
Dita is Grandma Edith. She just got time out of
I thought
10
you were talking
minutes.
about me, dude.
No.
Don't use my government name,
No.
man.
Dita got the Twitcher. The Twitcher got got time out by 10 minutes.
Ooh,
All right.
I once got Ranch roleplay botted, by the way, for saying grippers. I just gotta quickly mention that.
Ooh. All right.
Yeah.
So Dr. Opelia, you're only to get this nice code is for you to just go and DM me, and I give you the code, and you can go and apply it straight away. You can even put it on top of what you currently have, I believe. With that said, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. You know, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. It was great having you guys.
It was great being here. Thanks for
I
having us.
It's been 2 hours already. I didn't feel like it's 2 hours already.
I can
With
keep
that
going.
said, next weekend, the podcast is gonna be Sunday next week. All right, back to normal 3 p.m. EST standard. But we don't actually know who it is yet because people have applied for being on the podcast. So I don't actually know yet. We will reach out to you, letting you know when you can be on the podcast. And with that said. I think that's all I have. Everybody wish Dip a happy Diwali tomorrow. That's why we're having it
Happy
today.
Diwali.
Thank
Happy
you.
Diwali.
Yeah,
What is that?
because he's not gonna be here. That's why we're having it today. He's going to celebrate Diwali. I think it's like a
Oh,
Buddhist
okay.
celebration of life.
Oh!
I'm planning on figuring that out tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Oh, honestly, you're even allowed to say that, apparently.
All right, let me turn off Nightbot now that we have already done it. Oh, there we go. Part channel. There we go. People can spam caps again. There you go. I've set you guys
Happy
free.
Diwali.
Yeah, there you go. All right. With that said, any last shout outs you guys forgot about? Because
Shout out
wait,
to
hold
my
on.
mom, my
Shout
dad.
out to your mom.
Shout out to
We
Mom.
are gonna. You guys pick the streamer we're gonna host. Pick the streamer we're gonna host
Oh.
because I can't see it.
Oh.
I can't go on Discord to check who's online streaming right now. I
Agent
can't do
Northman,
that.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Right.
Otherwise, you guys will see personal DMs instead of Chi and Dip. So I don't want to kind of.
Oh, we can't have that leaked now, can we?
No.
No, I mean, we all know what's going on in those DMs, don't we?
Oh, a doctor's actually on
Is there a doctor
stream right
online?
now.
Give me the
Oh,
name.
Ro
Give me the name.
Montana. I would say Ro Montana. That's gonna be ours
Let's
right
give
then and there.
Montana.
All right.
Let
so
me
give me
get
the
that.
give me the name because
Yeah.
again I can't go in and check it myself. Is it Flirty Trade?
It
It
is.
is. It is.
So we're doing Flirty Trade. Well, it's only suiting that it's Flirty Trade now that you know. That it is a doctor episode. I hope everybody joins in and comes in and joins in and wishes her a great stream. Again, thank you, Chi. Thank you, Mima. Thank you, Drew. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you,
Thank you
Dip,
too.
for fucking making this happen. You know,
Always call me when you need someone to talk, man.
Thank you for having a nice shirt.
So true.
All right, guys. I'm gonna put on the raid, and then that means that we got 1 minute, man. We got 1 minute. Y'all want to say something? Get it out of your heart now.
I will be. I'm a shout out to Mercy because she's
Oh, yeah.
my wife.
Mommy.
Shout out to Will because
I
he
love you,
will hate me
Big Nose
otherwise.
Thompson.
I love the
Big
mapping
Nose.
team. Oh my
Big
god,
Nose.
mapping team.
Big nose,
Mapping
Look at all
big
the
nose.
noses.
Big Nose Will. Big Nose Will.
Oh yeah, Will. He's great.
Yeah. Big Nose Will.
But yeah, shout out to the mapping team. You guys are amazing. I love you so much. Yama.
Everybody is
Sage.
amazing. Woo.
I love Red so much, man.
Oh God, no, she's actually crying. This is what you made happen. She cries now.
Aww.
I cry
Will's
every
short
night
and
when
he
I
has a
think
big
about
nose.
you, Chi.
That's right. He's
It's
short.
true.
He's got a big nose. You're
big
right
nose.
about that.
Yeah.
Big nose Will.
Mm.
You know what they say
What?
about big noses, he can smell a lot.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that's true.
He
That's
smells.
true.
Snort a
No,
lot
he
of
smells a
cocaine.
lot.
Yeah, he smells a lot.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's a fun episode. Yep. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope to see you guys next Sunday. I don't know what it's going to be about. I can't actually tell you guys because we're going to, so far, I think
Surprise!
8 people have applied. You can still apply. 8 people because we're going to have open for 2024 as well.
Oh, I applied. Oh my god.
Go apply, man. We got 8 seconds. Say something,
apply?
guys. Say something. 7, 5.
Thanks for
Love you.
coming. See you next week. Woo!
Oh my god.
Here we go.
Oh, it's over. Oh my god.
Oh
All right.
God.
Hurry,
Let me
hurry.
Ah, she's on
quickly
Be Back
stop.
Soon.